what matters the most is vision. And how we see children in the kingdom of God, how we believe God sees them, is going to determine everything else. And you catch that and you see that, and now all of a sudden this thing goes from what traditionally is a stepping stone in the church to becoming one of the greatest opportunities to invest in human beings that exists.
Hi, I'm Pam Flannery, and welcome to a brand new podcast, Moving Mountains, celebrating wins that different churches and the church as a whole have experienced, particularly over this past year. In this podcast, I get the amazing opportunity to talk with pastors from all over the country, from many different denominations and backgrounds, and I look forward to listening along with you as they share with us how they overcame challenges during these uncertain times. Each month, you'll hear stories that inspire you and your leaders, prompting fresh ideas for your ministry. Welcome to Moving Mountains. Hi, my name is Pam Flannery, and I lead our customer communities at Pushpay and Church Community Builder. And today I have the honor to introduce you to Damon Strom, a kids church pastor with ChurchHome in Seattle, Washington. Welcome, Damon.
Hi, Pam. It's great to be here.
We're excited to have you here. We spoke earlier, and you had shared how innovation and creation is important, or creativity is important to you and your team. And so you look for ways to equip families better. And I went to your ChurchKids website and I was so excited and kind of blown away about what an excellent job you guys do. You provide resources for families. And I mean, even other churches can go on there and just see what you have. It's so awesome to see a children's ministry that's equipping families. Did what you suggested when you were telling me about this kids app that I can't wait for you to share with our listeners. They're going to be so excited. You had said it's so simple. You just say, Alexa, launch ChurchKids Stories. And I did that. My children are grown, but I was so impressed with what you've created. And I just want you to share, how did this come about? I know that you are very, innovation is huge for you guys and being creative. And because of that, I think that you're seeking ways that you can just really bless families. And so tell us a little bit how that got started and what has been the impact from having these kids stories?
Yeah, so the ChurchKids Stories, or bedtime stories, it all started about 2 years ago. And there was a family that started coming to one of our campuses in Seattle, and they had a son who was really shy. And so didn't really know how he felt about being in kind of the bigger church kids spaces. And so, you know what you do as a kids pastor, like you get to know them, you make them laugh, and then you just create that personal connection, which creates a sense of safety and security. And so, well, after that, every time the boy came to church, he wanted to come and see me. So I think I was like his one point of familiarity at the beginning. And so he would come and find me, and I would talk with the parents, and wound up becoming good friends with his mom and dad. And his dad's name is Jay, and Jay works at Amazon. And so one of the afternoons we were there at church talking, and he made a comment. He's like, hey, you know what we need to do is we need to do something on Alexa with church kids. And I thought it was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And then it just kind of went from there, and he left. And then over the next couple of months, we'd see each other periodically or bump into each other at sporting events. And it kind of just kept coming up until finally I looked at him and I was like, hey, Jay, are you serious about this? Because I'm game. Let's do this. And so we had this go, no-go conversation at a Panera Bread here in the area. And he was like, I'm in. Let's do it. So what we did was we created it's what's called a skill set inside Alexa. You refer to it as an app, which technically is true. But every time you tell Alexa to do something, it actually triggers an app inside of Amazon. And so when you say, Alexa, enable, and that's the key word, enable ChurchKids Stories, it will launch what we created. And it's about 6 to 8 minutes long, and it's designed for kids and families to listen to together at bedtime. And so it opens up with me greeting the kids and asking them about their day and how it went and kind of the highs and the lows, and then goes into a Bible story. And then it ends with like a bedtime prayer, which then, after it's done, transitions into about 15 minutes of a sleep sound, just a really calming sleep sound, which, by the way, come to find out, sleep sounds are the number one requested things on Alexa. And so taking that information and coupling it with, this opportunity to create a moment where kids encounter Jesus every night it's been a ball. And so season 1 is available now on Alexa. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And there's 30 episodes.
Wow. Well, I listened to one of them the day you told me about it, and I loved it. I literally thought, I want to go to sleep with this at night. And your voice is so soothing, and I love how you make it so personal. Like, I thought, if I was a child, I would think that Pastor Damon was speaking to me directly, and that there were no other children he was talking to. You've done such a great job. I'm just so excited about this. And tell me what's involved. Like, is there a cost for you to do this? Is it something that you have a lot of different volunteers or people in ministry that help you with this? Because again, I've only listened to one, but I'm going to be listening to more because they're so good.
I love that. No, it just, like I said, it started as it was an idea from my friend Jay. And then he and I started working on it just together. And then as it kind of started to pick up steam, and we realized, hey, I think we've got something here. We started bringing in different members of like the ChurchKids team to help out with the technical side of things, and then also like the marketing team and whatnot. But really, it's just been an in-house kind of scrappy grassroots effort to launch this and to see. Because here's the thing. I've noticed there's kind of two motivations for innovation and utilizing technology and whatnot. And one is because it's there, and the desire to kind of like build out your resume. And then the other one is asking the question, what is going to help the kids the best? And what's going to help people the best? And when technology is leveraged as a tool in order to be able to like accomplish that second question, I think that's when meaningful innovation happens. Nobody's got time. Ain't nobody got time to like innovate just for innovation's sake, or to say we're an innovating organization. But if it's going to help kids and it's going to help parents and families, then I'm all in. Like, let's do it. And so that's really the heart behind these bedtime stories was, hey, I think there's an opportunity here, and it just so happens that the Alexa technology could help us achieve that.
That's wonderful. And that's so true with technology. It can be used for horrible experiences, or we can use it for good. And so it's so great to see. What has been the response from just kids in your church, or maybe outside of your church? What kind of feedback have you received from kids as well as families?
Yeah, I mean, we're still on the launch phase. This is at the very, very beginning. And so like we just got everything approved through Amazon, probably about 2 weeks ago. So this is, like I said, it's scrappy, Pam. But we've gotten really good feedback. We're getting. Well, there you go. See, we got everybody fooled, Pam. That's the goal, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Under commit, over deliver. But we're getting really, really great feedback from families, like online, and then also from inside our community. We had one family reach out and say that their kids are actually excited to go to bed now because they want to like listen to the bedtime stories, which is like, wow, that's something. And the other piece of this is the thing that I'm really excited about is we're getting great feedback from parents because if you listen to one of the episodes, or when you do, you'll notice at the very beginning in almost every episode, I ask the kids to go grab one of their parents or their grandma, grandpa, or auntie or uncle, whoever it is that they live with, but to invite them to come and listen to the stories with them. And because the second goal of these bedtime stories is that it would help parents learn how to create these moments with their kids on their own. Because as a children's pastor, one of the questions we get the most is like, how do I pray with my kids? And how do I engage in my children's spiritual journey? And what might seem common sense for you isn't common sense for a lot of parents because it was never modeled for them. And so how in the world are you supposed to know how to engage in that and then lead your children in it if nobody's ever like walked you through it? And so the reason why we invite the parents to be a part of it is A, it's going to be meaningful to the kids, but B, it's that listening to these church kids stories, they're going to realize, oh my gosh, that's so easy. That's how you do it? Like, that's how you pray with your kids at night? Or that's how you tell a story from the Bible? Like, I want them to walk away going, oh, I can do that. Like, that's the goal, that when they don't listen to the church kids stories, and maybe when it's over or whatever it is, that now they actually feel empowered and equipped to know how to do this on their own with their own children. And that gets me super excited.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that. I don't know if you have plans to do webinars or write books or what. You probably have already done so, but your voice needs to be heard. You're an encouragement not only to children and family, to parents, but to those that work in children's ministries that are called to work with children.
Oh, well, thank you, Pam. It just means the world even to hear you say that. I have a book about kids ministry in the works. And so, and then just, over the course of years, just reaching out and connecting with other kids pastors. And like I said, it's like I'm inspired by them. And learning from them and also just even the opportunity to to be an encouragement. Because I think more than anything else, more than curriculum and room setups and structure and all of that stuff, what matters the most is vision. And how we see children in the kingdom of God, how we believe God sees them, is going to determine everything else. Because you can put in the nuts and bolts. You can have the most beautiful facilities with the most incredible technology at your fingertips, and it won't have life. But you could have a room full of leaders that are surrounded by white cinder blocks, right, with nothing in it, and it becomes a place where the kids beg their parents to go. And the reason it all comes from God's heart for kids. And you catch that and you see that. And now all of a sudden this thing goes from what traditionally is a stepping stone in the church to becoming one of the greatest opportunities to invest in human beings that exists. You think about it, you think about in business, like Apple's stock price right now is like $130 per share. Amazon's $6 billion a share. But now's not the best time to invest in Amazon. It's not the best time to invest in Apple. The best time to invest in Amazon was when Jeff Bezos was running a tiny online book-selling website out of his garage here in Seattle. The best time to invest in Apple was when it was getting started in a garage, I think in Cupertino, California, by Steve Jobs and Mike Wozniak. Kids ministry it's the long game. You're playing a long game. When you decide to really invest your best into children's ministry, you are playing a long game because you don't get immediate results. It's an investment and seed that gets sowed in the life of a person when they're not really in a place to give back to you. Pam, kids are not tithing through their nose, right? Kids are not funding churches' budgets, right? Kids are not walking up to you after you get done preaching, telling you how much that message changed their life. They're tossing their head back, going, "Are we done yet?" It is what it is. It's the beauty of and the honesty of kids, and so as a result, I think it's easy to get deceived and to look at that and go, there's not much happening here. Because there aren't any visual cues. I'm not picking up on any external visual cues. After all these years, I'm just man, if I can sow my life, if we can sow our best into the kids, then they are going to be positioned to reap God's best. And that is worth the investment.
Powerful. Yeah, powerful. You had said something once about, I think maybe it was in our first conversation that we had about doing things the same or not doing things the same like we've done before. We can't afford to. Do you remember that? You were saying something about we can't afford to do things the way we've done in the past.
Yeah, I think as a church kids staff, we have a saying, and we bring it up all the time. And the saying is, it's kind of one of our mantras, and it's everything starts with the question, what is going to serve the kids the best? Not us, not the staff, not church leadership, not the church budget, not volunteer structures, what is going to serve the kids the best? And then you answer that question and you build out from there. And the reality of it is, like we've got good structures. Like we do a good job. We're not the best. We're not the best, Pam. I could list off a whole bunch of other kids ministries that I'm like, man, they're crushing it. But for us, the question is what are we not doing right now that we could be doing that is going to help reach the kids in a way that we're not reaching them and serve them in a way that we're not serving them right now? And it's that desire that I think spurs us to hold all of our structures and how we've done things with an open hand, because nothing's the gospel but the gospel. Being willing to try and take risks on new things to see if they work. And if they work, awesome, run with it. If it fails miserably, man, fantastic job taking a risk. And we learned something from it. And now let's try something else. And just keeping that entrepreneurial startup risk tolerance when it comes to ministry versus getting bogged down into the way that we've always done things in tradition. Like, ChurchHome's only been around for 27 years, 28 years, but I'm grateful to be a part of a community that is constantly willing to ask the question, what do we need to do next to better reach people? And it's invigorating too. I think it's, at least for me, and maybe that's just my personality type.
I could talk to you all day. I have so enjoyed this time with you. And thank you. I know that your time is of the essence. I know that you're busy. I know that you have so much on your plate. And I just appreciate so much that you took time out of your very full schedule to share with other pastors and leaders just about what you're doing and what they can do. And I know more than anything else, it's going to bring a lot of inspiration. So thank you. We really, really appreciate you. And I know that big mountain that, we talk about, moving mountains is the name of our podcast. And the mountain is before us is what's going on with children and the culture change that we're seeing and just everything screaming and vying for their attention. And to be able to have the resources that you guys provide and the heart and the vision. We're just thankful for you. We're thankful for ChurchHome. And we're just thankful for you guys, and we're thankful we get to kind of partner with you a little bit just through Pushpay. That's a blessing for us.
Mm-hmm. No, I appreciate that so much, Pam, and it's an honor to be able to just talk with you, and so grateful for you and everything that you're doing too. It means so much.
All right, well, thank you so much. God bless you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week.
Thanks. You too.
This has been Pushpay's Moving Mountain podcast. Real talk from church leaders about overcoming challenges and growing their ministries. If you'd like to learn more about church staff or any of the features mentioned in our podcast, visit us at pushpay.com. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get notified whenever a new episode comes out. You don't want to miss any of these great conversations with amazing people. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.